I'm looking at the video over here to see that it's actually getting to where you are. I'm hopeful that that's true and that it's just a little timing issue. Let me go check on something. Hang on a sec. Okay, so I'm streaming from my home, and it's raining a little bit outside. Sometimes when that happens, there are issues with my internet connection. Y- Yeah, well, there's that. Nothing I can do about it. And so I wanted to check and see, number one, if I had a solid connection, and number two, if I had something else running, because that will interfere with my being able to live stream. And everything's turned off. You will notice that I'm not wearing my shoes today. We're going to do some foot stretches in a little bit, and I want to be able to kind of show my feet, but my feet are ugly, so I'm wearing socks. Feet about shoulder width apart. Let's do our stretches. Big circle, outward and up. Make sure bend the knees. And circle to the front. Back to the sides. Up along center line. Stretch all the way up. Reach up. Keep your shoulders down. And stretch out. Bend the knees. Reach out over the legs. We're going to do this 6 times. This is 1. As you roll up, let go of anything that you don't need to use. So as I'm stretching up, I'm going to stretch out. I need to use my shoulders to keep my shoulders down. I need to reach out my arms, keep my abs. But there's not a lot of work that I have to do in the front of my leg. And in the back of my leg, I really want to hold. I don't want to do that much work. I'm trying to stretch as opposed to do a lot of work. So we go over 3. Stretch out through the hips, through the lower back. Breathe out. Relax. Roll up through the back. Shoulders down. Extend the arms. Two more times. Reach out. And that was the last one, so extend fingertips up, elbows drop down, fingertips, hands return to your sides. Okay, so just now, this is a little bit more how to practice, right? I've talked through what we're doing. Okay, so we have a big circle, keep the shoulders down, open the back, stretch the arms, keep the head straight, use the whole body, bend the legs. I've talked through all of that. And what we want to start doing is really engaging that a bit more, so that it's less me talking about it and more doing it. Alright? So one of the ways to achieve that would be for me to just be quiet and practice, which is what we just did. Alright, so this idea as we're making these circles, and you just saw this as I did it. It's the whole body. It's not raise my hands up here and do something here and changes. It's everything goes. It's not a, with these exercises, we're not trying to do an isolation exercise. There are very good isolation exercises. The simplest one that I can show is just wiggle your first finger. Okay, first finger out, first finger point in, first finger point out, first finger point in. Bend it, point. Bend it, point. Up, down, in. Right? These are, I'm not moving any other than my mouth. I'm not moving anything other than my fingers. Right? Now, if I'm doing that with my shoulder, fine, I can do that with my shoulder. We don't want that kind of movement in Tai Chi. It's helpful to practice, depending. If you're having trouble with a particular movement and you need to take it apart so that you can figure out what's going on in your particular version of that movement, say, oh, okay, I'm trying to do this, and every time I do this, my shoulder goes up. Well, all right, what's going on with that? What I'm not doing is I'm not releasing my arm. So as long as my arm's kind of stuck there, I can't bring it up without bringing up my shoulder. Once I release the arm, oh look, now I have my shoulder down and my arm can come up. Things like that, it makes sense to take the body apart. Quite literally, that's what we're doing. If you're trying to practice Tai Chi and you're doing these stretches with me, and you're doing the Qigong practice, you want to think about it's a whole body movement, not just part of the body. So everything goes all together all at the same time. I'm going to check something here because I got this. Okay, that's my internet connection again. It says that you may be getting a choppy feed. I don't know I can do anything about it, other than kind of cross my fingers and hope the thunderstorm moves along. I am recording, and I'm hoping that the stream that's being recorded won't have gaps that you may be experiencing in the live stream. I will find out and see whatever else it is I can do to correct that. Right now, let's continue with our stretches. We're going to do the inward stretch, right? So just as we went outward, now we're going to go inward. Breathe in, breathe out. Up along center line. Stretch up, whole body, look up, follow your hands. Drop the elbows, drop the wrist, drop the fingers, follow your hands as you roll down. Try to separate the vertebra so that as you roll down, you start at the top and roll to the bottom of your spine. Here, you start at the base and roll up. Use your legs. That's 1, 6 times. Bend the knees. Breathe in, stretch up. Follow your fingers. Three more. It's almost as if your fingertips are a little bit heavier than everything else and they can pull you to the floor. One more time. Remember, you want to keep your shoulders open. Stretch through the back of the legs, pull up, breathe in. Stay upright, hands return to your sides. So, as I come down, I'm going to follow up and down, either way. I'm going to follow my fingertips. But I really want to pay attention to it here so that as I start down, my neck bends, the upper part of the spine, middle part of the spine starts to engage. Little by little, working my way down, all the way down to the tailbone. Where I've now engaged the hips more than the lower back, right? So by the time I'm all the way over, I've shifted from using my spine and my abs to using my hips. Okay? That transition tends to be a little bit difficult at first. Once you get started doing it, once you've worked through it a few times, once you start to get a little bit more flexibility in the hip, then it becomes easier, and you get to about here, and instead of feeling this tighten up, you start to feel this loosen, and it's much more comfortable to be able to go over. Okay, the ability to do that is part holding here in the abs and is part flexibility in the hip. Okay? The circle stretch left and right helps to build some of that flexibility in the flexibility in the hip. Okay, so you're going to go to the left side. I'm going to go to my right. Hand circle to the front. Center. Turn to the left. Bend the knee, keep the hip open. You want to feel a circle around the upper part of the leg. As you do this particular circle, as you do this move, so each leg, as I circle here, I'm going to feel the hip turn. Just as I turn here, my hip is also going to turn around this leg. As I come up here, I've got the hip turning to complete the movement. And stop in the center and go to the other side. This is going to be your right side. Stretch out over the leg, open the hip. Let the weight transfer naturally between the legs so that there's a natural sense that as one leg fills, the other empties. As one empties, the other becomes full. Center, elbows drop down, wrists, fingertips stay upright, and come back to center. This this concept of empty and full is extremely important in Tai Chi and in all of the stretching exercises that I'm teaching. These are from Tai Chi and from dance as well. You can't release one part without distributing the weight somewhere else, right? If I want to transfer my weight, if I want to raise my left leg, I can't do it if I have my weight on it. Physically impossible, I can't do it, right? I have to take the weight off. I have to put that weight somewhere else. In this case, my other leg. Now I can do whatever I want to do with this leg, right? So I've released this one. I've got all the weight over here. You want to do that through these stretches. So there's some part of this kind of thing going on, not so much, right? I'm exaggerating so you can see what I'm talking about. But there's this kind of thing going on where you've got your hip and your leg separate enough that it's like being on a swing when you're 5. It's great, right? You want that. You don't want to make it something too dramatic or anything. You want it to be available, but it's not, you don't want to exaggerate it. It's a natural movement. And that is the key to everything that I'm going to teach. That the movement, whatever it is, has a source in a natural movement, something that is comfortable, natural, and takes advantage of the body's capability. It doesn't try to do something that the body was never designed to do. Okay? There's some things that you could try to do, but I'm not going to do them. I mean, other people can do that. I'm not doing that. So everything you do, should feel natural and relaxed. This stretch over the hip, this swing, right? It's not that we're going to do that deliberately. It's that it happens as a result of using the legs and having the hip be open. Okay? We're not trying to do this. It happens. We're going to let it happen because it's natural that it should happen. But we're not that. I'm going to say this again. What we're trying to do is to open the hip, use the legs, and engage the entire body in doing this particular stretch. As a result of doing that successfully, you get this wiggle in a hip. That's the result. That's not what you... Don't practice that. Practice this other thing, and then you can have that as the result, okay? So I'm going to do this one more time. Go right. You're going to go to your left. I'm going to go to my right. We're going to turn around and go back to the other side. Pay attention to the openness in the hip. Try and keep your hip and your legs separate. Hand circle to the front. And back around. Circle up. Stretch up. Pull up through the ribs. Pull up the hip. Turn to the left. Keep your hips open. Bend the knees. Stretch out. Turn. And bend the knees. Stretch up. Open the hip. Come to center. I'm going to try and go the other way. Turn the hip. Hold through the leg, open the hip. Turn. And come up. Center. And come back to center. Bend your knees just a little bit. Put your hands, put your hands on your hips, right? Find your hip. Mine's right here, okay? That's, you want, here's your ribs, there's a space, and then your hips. Find your hips. Reach down about, for me, it's about 3 inches, give or take, below the top of the hip. Stick your fingers there. Find your leg, okay? The bone comes across like this. It's fairly narrow. Your leg fits right in here. Find that space in between your hip and your leg. All right? Stick your fingers in it. Knees bent. Now, pull up. Oh my! Stay there. Hold. You're holding your hip and your legs. Okay, release it. That's the feeling that you want as you are practicing. Okay, it takes some work. Okay, a lot of small muscles in there that you need to develop to hold. Same here. Okay, anatomy and physiology 101. What do my abdominal muscles look like? And what needs to hold when in order to do which movement. I am going to cover some of that. So as we're going through these stretches, as we're going through these exercises, try to pay attention to some of these little things that will make all the difference in being able to do some other things. Let's do the floor work. I mentioned that I had deliberately worn socks okay, for stretches. Okay, I have any number of issues with my feet and other things, but the focus that I want to take is not so much on the challenges, because everybody has challenges, as on the remedies. Okay, so for several things can be challenges in practice. You can run into timing issues. You can have trouble getting up in the morning. Hello, I gotta work on that one. Yeah, I'm busy during the day. By the time I get home in the evening, I'm too tired. Those kind of issues, right? There are also challenges to doing particular physical movements. Now, I have been practicing for quite a bit, so me sitting here with my feet together on the floor, my legs almost on the ground, is not too difficult for me. I expect that there are folks who would find this particular sitting position a little bit uncomfortable. Okay, so I'm going to switch back to where we were. We're going to go back to this in a minute. Or variation of it. So, legs crossed. Press down just a little bit as you lean forward. And we rock back and forth just a little bit. And remember, the goal here is to pull up through the hip. That same separation that we just had when we actually reached in there and pulled up the hip. Alright? We literally did that. Alright, so you want to think about doing that using the muscles inside the hip as opposed to your fingers. Stretch out. And keep your back straight. You want to think about reaching out through the top of the head. Keep your back straight so that if you were going to reach the floor, your nose and your chest would reach the floor at almost the same time. Yes. That bend in the hip is what we're looking for. Alright, and turn, open. And we're going to do the same movement that we just did. This gentle back and forth, about 8 times. So just rock gently forward. Keep your legs on the floor. Legs stay flat on the floor. Legs don't have to do much of anything except stay put. Yeah. Again, if you were going to go all the way over, your nose and your chin and your chest probably are going to arrive closer to the same time than your nose and your chest. But yeah, the goal is that you're here and you're flat on the floor. I'm going to be able to do that again. I can do that. I can able to do that. I'm working on it. Okay. However, so then right hand under and reaches out to the left. Left hand over. Reach out to the right. And what we're going for here is you're going to put your your ear to your knee, fingertips of your left hand to your right toes. I'm not going to make it today, but that's the goal. Alright, so stretch out. And release. And we're going to do that same stretch again to the same side. So the right hand stretches out to the left. Reach out with the right hand to the left side. The left hand reaches overhead to the right side. Lean over your leg, ear to your knee. And raise up. Alright, we're going to do this to the other side. And pay attention this time as well to the muscles all along the side, rolling into the back. As we stretch over, you're going to feel this right in here. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. These are some of the stronger support muscles in the layering in the back, in the muscle layering in the back, and we're going to stretch those out and engage them, possibly something you may never have done before. Alright, so right hand goes up, it's going to stretch out to the left, you want your fingertips to your toes. Left hand stretches out to the right, here to your knee, stretch. Reach out, and stretch. And come up. As you come up, pull. This pulls. Okay? So start here and pull. Start here, pull. From here, pull. Let's do it again. And stretch over. Here. Reach out with that left hand. Yeah, reach for your other foot there. Yes, reach out. And stretch up, pull up, and come center. All right. So, again, these particular stretches are from dance, and there are some things that we would do as floor work when we're just getting started. There are other things that we would do during class that were also part of basic stretches, basic development, if you will, for that particular art form. Some of those exercises are applicable to anything that you do with your body. Okay? So if we're talking about, what do I do with my shoulders? What do I do with my waist? Right? What do I do with my hip? Go down through the entire body, right? And we start with what is a base, right here. Here they are. In Qigong, we have the Yongchuan, which is roughly right here, between the big toe and the second toe, just behind where the bones insert. Okay, so right about here. You can stick your fingers there and you can feel that. It's very similar to what happens if you stick your finger in the palm of your hand and you push. If you push at the point of the Laogong in the palm, your fingers will do that. So, all right. So we kind of got the same thing going on in the feet. All right. If you push at that point, something happens, and that's the point that you're looking for. Now, you will notice that today I have on a leg warmer. I only have one on because only one foot is bothering me. I have a little arthritis in my ankle and my heel, and sometimes it flares up, especially when it's rainy outside. So in order to address that, I do several things. One of them is to keep it warm. That works really well because instead of getting cold and tight, now it's kept warm and supple. Another is a stretch that I'm going to show you. And this is, again, These are very gentle things to do. These should not be done with vigor. They should be done with gentleness, right? Okay, so I've put my foot up here where I can reach it more easily. And I'm going to hold my Achilles tendon back here. And then I'm going to gently push toward my heel. I'm going to take my two fingers here, and I'm going to gently push and slide toward my heel as I pull my toes toward me. Gently. This is not, oh, I'm going to pull my, no. I'm going to pull my toes, right? This is, you got the 4-month-old and you're playing pinky toe with your 4-month-old, okay? Gently. Same with the back of the heel. This is gently. What you want to do with this is to open the foot, which is up over here. This part is the foot. This part is the heel. And up over here is the ankle. You want to open the foot and separate the ankle so that the Achilles tendon gets a nice, gentle stretch. As you push down toward the heel, close your fingers. Okay. Close your fingers just a little bit. Just a little bit. And hold it there. Count 1, 2, 3. And release. Okay, that you can do pretty much anytime you like. The same if you were having trouble on the other leg. What you're doing with this stretch is based on an assumption that whatever is going on, and for me it's no assumption, I know what's going on with my ankle, it's arthritis, so, and I've done something to strain the muscle back in here. I did. Okay, so I know what's going on. Someone else might have an injury that needs to be paid attention to in a slightly different way. This stretch is good for pretty much anything to do with the foot because it's gentle. You're not making demands in any part of the foot really other than this really gentle stretch. There's a lot of other different stretches that can be done. This is one of them. It works really well for opening up the ankle joints and giving the foot a little bit more support than we normally give it. We ask a lot of our feet and we don't take as good a care of them as we probably should. So this just pulling the toes back, opening this up just a little bit, lets the foot stretch. It's like doing this with your hand. And we do this easily with our hand. We don't do that with our foot so much. We could, but we don't. So my point is that being demanding of your body, asking your body to do things that you might not otherwise ask it to do because now I'm doing this exercise or I'm learning Tai Chi, I'm learning this stretch, I'm doing. Asking your body to do something that you might not normally do, you can do that nicely. You don't have to, you can be gentle and work your way up. Alright, and that's my goal for this class really, is that this should be a nice gentle break. You take a break, you do some stretches, you think about how I can stay healthy, you think about I'm gonna do a little workout, my shoulder's stiff, I've been sitting at the computer for 6 hours already today. Whatever that is, you can take a break, do some stretches, think about something else, look at the pretty pictures, and come back tomorrow for Tai Chi class.